Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I will be doing a reading vlog that spans over, I think, about 2 weeks or so, because I'm also filming a different reading video at the same time. So I have my TBR over here. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them, but this is what I hope to read in this vlog. So let's just get into the TBR. The first book on this list is really long awaited for me, and I'm so intrigued and excited in what I think of this author, because this is also, I mean, this is my second book from the author, but I don't think the first one really counts. But it's none other than The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I read Tress of the Emerald Sea, and I feel like I have to reread Tress at some point after I am a little bit more in the Cosmere, I guess, because I heard that Tress has so many connections to the Cosmere. It's quite like amazing because specifically of the connections. And I read it, I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I think it's probably because I don't know any of the connections. Whenever I was reading it, I was like, okay, for sure, this is a connection to something, but I don't know what. So that was quite a bummer, but I think now that I'm gonna properly start in the proper order in reading the Cosmere, I am very, very, very excited. I know nothing about the Final Empire, and yeah, I'm just intrigued in what I think about this. But this is definitely one of the books that I really want to get into for sure, 100% in this vlog. I don't know when exactly I'm going to pick this one up, but January has been quite a busy month, settling into 2025, starting new things, finalizing 2024. So it's been quite hectic, but I am excited to read this. So yeah, that's The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. The second book is the book that I've been eyeing on. I've been wanting to read more from this author for quite a while. It's just that I just haven't done it. The first book that I read was Anxious People back, I don't know, I think 2022 or something, or 2023. Yeah, and I fell in love with the book. I just never really, I don't know, just pick up his other works. By the way, it's Frederick Bachman. I don't know, I really love his writing style in Anxious People, and I want to read all his backlist. So this year is the year that I'm picking up more of his books. So in this video, in this reading vlog, I will be reading Beartown. I don't have the physical copy of this because, I don't know, I think these days I just want to be more intentional in what I buy, really. Even though I know I like Frederick Bachman, but I don't know if I'm going to be liking Beartown. So I thought the best idea in tackling this is to borrow the book or the ebook from the library. So the library near me, it's like the city library, I guess. We only have a few, and they don't really have a big section for English books, but they have a lot of ebooks in English, and Beartown being one of them. So yeah, I picked it up and I already started reading it, so the update will come in the next update, I think. This is about a town that loves hockey and everything that entails that town pretty much, and we're following many different POVs, and I am enjoying it so far. But for more updates, it will be coming very soon. The next book that I want to read is The Things We Leave Unfinished. I impulse bought this 2 years ago because, I don't know if it's 2 years ago, but it's definitely after Fourth Wing, and after reading Fourth Wing and loving Fourth Wing, I didn't know that before that she was not a fantasy author, but she's more of a romance author. So I thought, since I love Fourth Wing so much, I want to pick up her contemporary romance. I'm just intrigued in how she writes contemporary, because the fantasy, Fourth Wing, I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, the plot, the everything. And with this, I know nothing but that it's really sad. It's a love story during the World War II, I think. So that will be very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this one up and see what I think of this. The next one is continuing the Ranger's Apprentice series. I read the first two books, I think 2 years ago, and I just stopped for some reason because the title is The Icebound Land. By the way, it's the Ranger's Apprentice series, book 3 by John Flanagan. So many friends of mine told me that I should read Ranger's Apprentice series because it's so good. Yes, it's a children's novel, but apparently it's one of their favorites. So I decided to pick the first two books 2 years ago, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Yeah, just moving on to the third book. The thing is, it's called The Icebound Land, and by that time I was reading it in the summer, and I was like, you know what, I cannot be bothered. I pushed it back to winter, and it's January, which is 1 month before winter ends, so I really need to read this quite ASAP, which I will definitely read this book. If there is any books in this video that I have to read, it will be The Icebound Land and The Final Empire, but I still want to finish all these books. So yeah, but yeah, we have The Icebound Land by John Flanagan. I don't know how I can update you on this because it's also the third book, and continuing reading the whole series. There's, I think, either 11 or 12 books. I don't know how I'm gonna talk about it. I think I just have to look at other people's videos and how they do it. Spoiler free, I guess. But yeah, that'll be this one. Moving on to the next one is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. I know nothing about this book. I think all I know about this book is, I think, about how is Earth without humanity or something like that. And I'm really intrigued, and it won so many prizes, and it's so short. Can you see? I don't know, I think it's focusing on me, but it's really, really short. It's 136 pages. So I definitely can finish this in one day. But I think this is the kind of book where you take it pretty slowly and enjoy it very slowly and properly think about it. And I'm really, really, really intrigued. And the last book that I want to pick up in this video is a chunky one. It is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I've heard so many good things about this. I also have Keeping 13 over here, as you guys can see. I impulse bought this as well 2 years ago, and I thought, you know what, I will read it eventually. But I think the thickness of this book actually kind of scares me, so I want to see if I can pick it up on Kindle, because I think I have the ebook. I want to see if I can read it there instead. So I started reading this book and I'm like 2-3% in. I don't remember much really, but I decided to drop the book. I don't know why. It's not because I didn't enjoy it, because I think at that time I was reading so many other books that interested me more. So I decided, you know what, I will pick this one up when the time is right, and I think the time is right. So I will try. I will really, really try to read this. The only thing I know, it's about Shannon and Johnny, I think. And Johnny is like big guy, typical like, I don't know, romance books. Johnny is massive and Shannon is like tiny. So we shall see. I'm not always into that kind of genre. I mean, obviously it's cool, I guess. It's whatever you want, like whatever your body is. Sorry, I'm on a tangent, but I finished the Throne of Glass series, and I'm on TikTok just scrolling away, and then all of a sudden I am stumbled upon this video talking about Lorcan and a lead. Lorcan is 7 feet and a lead is 5'2", I think. That is insane. I never actually think of like the size difference really. And then I just didn't know that people are actually really annoyed at "so Lorcan did" like line, which now thinking about it, yes, it was kind of, I guess, like, okay, why don't you show me what Lorcan did? But I don't think it's that kind of book. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. But yeah, that would be the books that I want to read this, I don't know, 2 weeks, and I think it's doable. So yeah, I will try, and I think one day I might have to just sit down and read the whole day, which I am so excited about because I haven't had that kind of day in a few months. So I'm really intrigued, and yeah, let's just get into some reading. Oh yeah, also true, sometimes I would talk about what my plans are for this video, like for the reading vlog, but honestly this week no plan. This 2 weeks, honestly no plan, but to just catch up in my reading and just read as much as possible because I am in a reading mood. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm here for my first initial update of Beartown. I'm currently on chapter 21. I'm 39% in, and yeah, I really enjoy it so far. I have read another book by Frederick Backman, and by the way, before I get in, I think I should explain what this is about. So far, what I know from this book, I don't think everything has fully gotten explained yet. I don't think we've gotten into the main plot. I mean, the base plot is there, but I think there will be another main plot coming really soon, or like turn of events, which I am very excited for that. In the first, honestly, 20%, I feel like the book is quite slow because it was setting everything up, but it was not like slow enough that I would want to stop reading it because I'm so intrigued, and his writing style in general is so fast-paced, and I feel like with reading his characters, it's just so, I don't even know how to imagine them because he doesn't really explain their outlook appearance. It's more about what they think, about what they want to do but they didn't do in the end, or like it's about, we know a lot more about their feelings rather than their appearances, for example, which is, I find it so intriguing because I cannot imagine any of them. Sure, I can imagine because sometimes they like explain. Okay, maybe let's retrace and let me explain to you what I know about this book. So this book is about a town called Beartown, and this town loves hockey. And when I say loves hockey, it's an understatement. It lives and breathes hockey, and it is so dependent, everything is dependent on ice hockey. And yeah, Beartown has been losing ice hockey tournaments for a long time, and then one night or one day a kid is born, and this kid is so obsessed with ice hockey. His name is Kevin, and Kevin grew up training for ice hockey, and he has the talent, and Beartown put all their hopes and dreams on this child, and Kevin is really good. Pretty much the baseline, the base plot is that we're pretty much with the town, witnessing the team, the ice hockey team playing their matches, and at this moment they just finished their semifinal, I think, and they are going to a party. So from the blurb that I know, after this there is a point where something will happen and this girl will be traumatized, and it will change the whole course of Beartown and their love for ice hockey, and pretty much ice hockey in general for Beartown. And I'm so intrigued because I think it is coming really soon. But yeah, so far I am loving this book. I think this will honestly be the first 5-star of the year, which is, this is my second book that I would be reading this year, and I already find 5 stars. I don't know if obviously it depends on the ending, and it depends on the middle of the book. I'm 40% in, so I don't know what's gonna happen yet, but I'm so intrigued, and his writing style is so good. I feel like if I were to have this book physically, I will have to annotate and tab it, and the tabs will probably be in every single page, which is insane. The quotes that he just have lying around everywhere, and then he has this, I don't know, the way he writes is just so interesting. He is so straightforward, and he's not like over explaining anything, and he doesn't really explain a lot of like characteristics of a person, but you know it's their characteristics because of their personality, because we are in their brain and their heart in a way, which is so interesting. And this book has so many point of views. There's like this family, which is the Anderson family. We see, I think, 3 point of views from them, because Peter is the general manager of the ice hockey in Beartown, Kira is the wife, and Maya is the kid. And then there's Erdahl family, which is Kevin, and sometimes we get the point of view of the mom. And then after that we have Benji, which is Kevin's best friend, and there's this Amat and Zacharias. Pretty much so many, I think over 10 or 15 probably, I don't know, I haven't counted, but over 10 for sure, which is like, I don't find it discombobulating because we jump around so fast. It just makes it so interesting because there's this one thing that is happening, and we're seeing it from so many different point of views that we fully understand what happened. We fully get what is happening in a way. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, and this book is so amazing so far, and I cannot wait to finish this. And I think I want to finish this relatively soon because I just have to know what happened and what's gonna happen. I know I'm not even like in the main plot yet, but I feel like even if we continue being just this baseline plot and talking about the town, I think it would still be really, really good. So yeah, that's that with Beartown. I'm really, really excited to just continue reading. I think the next book I want to pick, I know I'm not nearly close to being done yet, but I think the next book I want to pick is either The Icebound Land, or I can start reading Binding 13, which is a hunk of a book, and I can see it over there. That's why I'm looking that way. Another book that I can read maybe is Orbital, so I'll see what I read next. But first of all, obviously finishing Beartown, first priority. That's that for me. Let's continue on reading, and then yeah, I will update you whenever I probably finish Beartown. So I'm here for a reading update. I don't know if I've updated you anything about this book, but first of all, I'm so sorry for the lighting. It is very dark and it makes my under eye circles so dark, but do not fret. It's just the lighting. It's not the most flattering, but it is quite late. It is like 10:30 at night, and I have my starlight, oh, it's over here, you cannot see it, on. That's why it's red in the background. But I'm here to update you on The Icebound Land by John Flanagan, which is the third book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. And I honestly really enjoyed it, and the book reads so fast. I just like how the characters dealt with some of the difficult situations that they've been handed on. And yeah, I really enjoyed Will's character as well, how he's just so positive in the midst of negativity, and how he's always so passionate in, I don't know, helping. Yeah, I just really, really like our main character, Will. And okay, this book has dual, I don't know, I wouldn't say it timeline, but dual POVs, I guess. But like in total, there are many POVs, I think like about 5 or 6 POVs, but there are 2 main plots, I guess that's the name, but like one is of Evelyn and Will. Evelyn or Evelyn? It's Evelyn and Will. And one is of Horace and Holt. I don't know what I can tell you about this book without spoiling it, but I really like the ending. And the ending was a little bit nerve-wracking. I was thinking that this book, I don't know, putting addiction so front and center like that for a children's book, it's kind of very interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed how this ended, and I have the 4th book here. I didn't realize that it was on frame, but yeah, I have the Battle of Scandia, and I am gonna start reading this very soon. But before that, I have another reading update, which is I'm in the middle of reading Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which is also an RTBR. I'm currently on page 56, and also, by the way, guys, this flap thing, can you see it? Is so handy whenever I don't have bookmarks, and I don't have bookmarks near me just now. But yeah, I read 54 pages of this, and honestly, this book is not the type of book that you can binge / the type of book that you can digest quite easily. I think usually for reading 50 pages, it would take me, I don't know, like an hour and a half max tops. And this one took me so long, like 2.5 hours. yeah, I think it's just like the book itself is so beautiful. Maybe let me tell you what it's about first. So let me tell you what it's about first. It's about 6 astronauts who are in this spaceship. I want to say spacecraft above the Earth, and they're just orbiting the Earth for 9 months, I think. And now we are just getting into their like POVs slash personalities slash experiences that they've gone through, and I guess just like knowing what they feel being above Earth, and knowing that they're getting all the news, all the like horrible things that are happening, the natural disasters, all the good things, but that they're such a part of it because they are from Earth, but they're also so disconnected because they are not directly it like on Earth, but they're above Earth, and that it is so interesting their point of views about like loneliness, about how they feel like they're a part of something but not really, and the fact that the whole future could very well rest on their experiments, upon their whatever it is that they're going through and they're researching over there. And it's so interesting and it's so beautiful. The writing style is so lyrical and just poetic. Yeah, and then like so pretty much this whole book is just them contemplating about like what it is about Earth that pulls them in so much, and how does it feel like to be so connected and so disconnected. I know I keep repeating that, but that's pretty much the main topic of this book, which is so interesting. And there's one where it's, I think it was saying about something about the humans, whether they're so curious or ungrateful that they need to know more, especially about like the space and everything. And is it like ungrateful that you already have Earth and you still want more, or is it about curiosity that you want to know more and explore more and research and get to know more? And I feel like that is such a, I don't know, very interesting take in, I don't know, space exploration and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed this so far. I thought I could read this in one sitting and have it finished by tonight, because I was like, okay, next week I'm gonna be busy, so I want to, I don't know, read as much as possible. And I don't think I could. I think this is gonna be a book that I would finish quite slowly. I know I'm already on page 56, and I think the whole book, I think the book has 130 something pages, so I am not almost halfway, but I am on my way there. I'm over a third point, I guess. But if you are intrigued in the summary that I just gave you, I would definitely suggest you picking this one up, because it is so fascinating. It is so intriguing how Samantha Harvey just writes and her prose. And I truly enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not done. By the way, I haven't even told you what I would rate this, but I think rating wise, I'm just gonna give you a little bit later. And I've technically read 2 other books, which is Beartown and The Things We Left Unfinished. But since I was such in a reading mood, I didn't even think to stop and film a final update on those books. So, but yes, just so you know, I've read Beartown and The Things We Left Unfinished. I just will film the update probably tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have so far. I need a palette cleanser book though for now. And palette cleanser for me is contemporary romance always, because it's such an easy read. And I discovered one author that I truly enjoyed last year. Like all her books I enjoy. I know it's like all her books are pretty copy paste, but I like the hustle and the grind, and it's not broken, so why change it kind of mentality. And yeah, I'm reading another series by Catherine Cowles, which is, last year I read the Tattered and Torn series, and this is a direct continuation of that series, which is, one second, I have it on my Kindle over here. It's the Lost and Found series. I am also currently reading this. So I'm chapter 3, which is 10% in, apparently, which is quite insane thinking about it. But yeah, I am currently reading this, but I think this is just like palette cleanser books. I try not to put palette cleanser books in my reading vlog, because it's just like when I need to reset before I can continue reading all the books that I love. I know like, I love contemporary romance, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I've just had enough and I need to read my fantasy. Oh, another thing. I also started reading The Final Empire. I'm on chapter 1, which is so interesting how he writes and how he just swaps between POVs so seamlessly. But anyway, I will have a proper update for that whenever I have updates to give you guys. But yeah, so far, I think that's the update. It's quite long enough. But yeah, I will talk to you whenever I have more updates. And I hope I can finish Orbital pretty soon and I can have some sort of understanding in the Final Empire to be able to give you some sort of useful, I don't know, update. But yeah, let's get into reading more of probably Whispers of You for now. But maybe I'll pick up Orbital before I go to bed. And yeah, let's read more. So now we're finally here to do like a more major update, I guess. I have quite a bit of an update that I can give you because I think the last time I talked to you, it was 2 days ago and it was so late and I don't even know what I said, honestly. But I talked about the Icebound Land, which is the 3rd book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. I finished that and I'm in the middle of Orbital, I think. And I was saying that I have not given an update on The Things We Leave Behind and Beartown. So I thought I will give you a little bit of a final verdict of what I think of the books. And then we're gonna get into, because I finished Orbital as well, which means I'm gonna talk to you about that as well. And I'm currently in the middle of the Final Empire and mini spoiler, I am loving it. But before we get into the Final Empire, I'm gonna start with The Things We Leave Unfinished. Now that I've read this like a while back, I think I read this a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I think her contemporary romance are just not for me. I don't know if this specifically because of this book or her writing stuff for contemporary romance are just not like a thing for me. I honestly liked the ending. We have this like grand reveal that happened at the end that it was like, I think, a major plot twist. I didn't see it coming, but one of our main characters saw it coming, which is quite interesting. And I think for the ending, it's actually, I want to say it's a good ending. It is very sad, and I feel like, I don't know, if I'm more of a book crier, yes, we've established that I am a book crier, but I don't know, it just has to hit really well for me to properly cry, I guess. And this book, a lot of people cried to this book, and I know a lot of people loved this book and said that it's such a sad story. And I agree that it's a sad story, but I don't think it's a tearjerker kind of book. I hate that word, tearjerker. But yeah, I feel, I guess, the tension between Noah and, oh no, what's her name, Georgia. The thing is, there's 2 timelines in this. I'm sure I already talked about this, but one is like during the war and one is like current day, which is in the war is her great-grandmother or her grandmother, and then now we're following like her Georgia, which is the granddaughter, I guess, from Scarlet. I think the thing that I don't enjoy as much is that we have 2 love story in here and then we don't have enough time to properly get to know both couples, I guess, because with Jameson and Scarlet just went so fast. And I know it's war and it's like time crunch and everything. That's why it's like so fast and then fast paced and then insta love and whatever, which, okay, I get it. But with Noah and Scarlet, I feel like I just don't understand. The meet cute was not even that cute. And yes, Noah is really like caring, but I think that's the standard anyway. And I know she's gone through like horrible things in her life. That's why it hits more. But I feel like in a way, all that Noah did is just standard. But pretty much what I'm saying is I'm not fully convinced with the characters. It's a cool love story, but it's nothing like groundbreaking, or I would probably never remember this book. I almost forgot the main character's name, so it's a good thing that I read it, I think, because I was pretty curious about Rebecca Yarros's other romance or other novels. And I'm intrigued for Onyx Storm though, side note, because I pre-ordered it, but it hasn't come yet, and it's supposed to come I think 3 days ago, but something happened and it's gonna come next week. So yeah, I'm really excited to read the whole series in one video, because I will do that. But I think I want to reread Fourth Wing because I remember a lot of things, but I read it in 2023, which means it's a while ago, and I haven't read Iron Flame. So I think either I want to do full spoiler of the whole series, which I think it'll be interesting, I think. So I will probably do that. I'm sorry, I'm brainstorming with you again, but anyway, that's the things we leave unfinished. Moving on to Beartown. I gave this book a 5-star, I think. I know it's a spoiler, and usually I gave you the rating towards the end, but I cannot deny it. Beartown it just hits so hard, and I didn't read the blurb, so I don't know what was coming. And when the main plot came and something happened to our main character, or one of our main characters, I was honestly feeling for her so much, especially as a young girl. To go through that kind of experience, it's traumatic, and I feel like in the end it got resolved quite well. And I was so stressed and nervous towards like the last 30%, because it's when it's like the peak, and it started going like downhill and downhill and downhill for our main character, which is like this girl, and it started to get so good for the bad guy, I guess. And I was like, no, it cannot be like this. But I think what happened towards the end was honestly one of the best endings I could imagine for this book, because it's just the perfect balance of like revenge in a way. Even though I know you should not commit to revenge or whatever it is, but it's just something about it is very like satisfying. And the way she did that, I think she definitely took the high ground in a way. And for her, for like a 16-year-old to do that is quite mind-blowing, honestly. But I really, really enjoy this book. If you're looking for any recommendation, please read Frederick Backman's books, because they are so good. And I'm intrigued in reading the second and the third book, because I think it's a trilogy, and I think he's coming out with a new book this year as well. So I definitely want to try and read his backlist this year, but winter is coming to an end soon. I have so many wintry books that I still have to read, but it's okay. I'm gonna read it in the summer, it's all right. But yeah, let's move on to Orbital. So Orbital, honestly, this book made me contemplate and think about everything, about space specifically, because it got me into like this rabbit hole of like space station, whether how many people are up there right now and how long are they going to be there. It was 2 a.m. and I was just like scrolling and trying to read everything, which is quite funny. I think this book honestly is so well written and so beautiful. I don't have any other words to describe it rather than it's honestly beautiful writing, and it's such a beautiful depiction of what's happening in space, or what we as humanity are working towards, I guess, in a way. I feel like sometimes, even, I know this might sound very stupid, but I feel like I cannot comprehend space. Like, I know there is space, and I know Earth and other planets and the Milky Way and whatever, and Moon, Earth, Mars, whatever. I understand that. But whenever you properly think about it, it is a very interesting, it's very like, I understand, but I don't think I comprehend it, if you know what I mean, because there are only so like a handful of people that's gone up there. And I don't know, the way it was described in this book as well, that it's like the sunset in here and the sunrise in there, it's so insane. And the fact that they're in this plane thing that orbits the Earth, I don't know how many times, but it went like 50 something thousand miles per hour, which is, just thinking about it, is like quite insane. I can be in Asia in 20 minutes. I can be in, I don't know, Central America in 20 minutes, which is like mind-blowing. And one time in this book, one of the characters was doing spacewalking and they looked down. Apparently you're not supposed to look down because, I don't know, it's just something where you're like climbing something super high. Don't look down because you'll lose your nerves, kind of thing. I think it's the same thing as spacewalking. And the way they explain how Earth looks like is so interesting because yes, we can imagine it. It's like a ball and blue and like all this land, all this ocean, whatever. And then, but it's not like a just a ball. It's ball where it's like rough around the edges and it's like hard lines, but it's like atmosphere. I don't know how to explain it, okay? I am definitely not knowledgeable in space, so I don't know all the terms and everything. Guys, if you are intrigued about space and you want to think about what the people are experiencing up there, then you definitely have to pick up this book. But I think this book honestly drags a little bit for me. It's only 136 pages long, so I don't know how it could drag, but something about like it's such a beautiful, complicated writing that it's not a book that you can binge in one sitting. I read this like 4 or 5 separate occasions and I was like, whew, what a chapter. Like, it's not bad, it's written so beautifully, and I cannot even imagine how long it took her for like to compile all this information that she got. Because I think in the acknowledgements she said like, thank you for NASA and ESA for the information, which is like she needs to sort through all this kind of information to be able to put out this book, which honestly is really, really amazing and really, really cool. So now moving on to my most anticipated update, which is The Final Empire. I know this book will be epic, but I did not know that it could be like this. It is so good. It is, I don't know how to explain it, guys. I'm loving it so much, and I think honestly this could be a contender of one of my best books I've ever read ever, because oh my gosh, the world building, everything, the characters, the crew members. Anyway, before I get sidetracked, let me just talk to you what this is about. But before that, I guess I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I lost my bookmark. But I'm chapter 18, which is like, I think 2 chapters after part 3. I think in total there's 5 parts. So pretty much the back says that for 1,000 years, there is ash that fell into this world, I guess. And for 1,000 years, there is this slaves, they are called the Ska, and they live in fear under the Lord Ruler, which is supposedly immortal and very strong. And every attempt of revolution or rebellion from the Ska slaves has failed miserably, pretty much. And then we are introduced with our main characters, which is Helsier and Vin, and they are in this crew member, which is thieves. They were thieves, and then now they're planning this rebellion together with other crew members. And honestly, guys, the world building and the magic system in this world is so fascinating. I don't know what else I can tell you, but that it's honestly mind-blowing. I don't know how Brandon Sanderson can do something like this. It was so insane. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but if you don't want to know what the magic system is, please skip ahead. I will give you a timestamp now. So I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about what the magic system is. I don't think it is a spoiler, but it is not written in the back of the book, so I think it could be a spoiler, could be not. I'm not gonna spoil anything major plot wise, but I'm just gonna explain to you what it's about. So if you don't want to listen to this, please, I have a timestamp somewhere in the screen. Skip to that, and then we can resume what I think about this pretty much. So the magic system is allomancy, which is like you push and you pull metals in a way. So they have this vial of metal and alcohol, water solution, whatever, but pretty much you drink it, and if you are a misting, you can only pull, push, whatever it is that you do with one metal only. But if you're a Mistborn, which is what the series is called, then you can use all of them. And they all have different abilities. Like, for example, pewter is for strengthening your body, and tin is to, if I'm not wrong, it's like to manipulate someone's emotion, either to like soothe them or to aggravate them even more. And there is copper. I'm sorry if you guys can hear it drilling beside me, and there is copper where it dampens slash hides your ability. And then there's like iron and that kind of stuff. And the way that it was explained and the way they fight the Mistborns is so cool, and I honestly really love it. Also our main characters and just their dynamic, because I feel like Vin, everyone has let her down way too much, and then now she found this crew where it's like a really nice found family. And I really like Kelsier as well, like how he's so insane and how he's so like chaos and reckless. But I also really love the dynamic between Kelsier and Vin, because I wouldn't say they're like father and daughter, but they're like maybe brother and sister. I'm not sure, but they're like, I guess, more close to father and daughter, but not as intense, I guess. But I really like Kelsier's personality, as I already said, and Vin's personality is so interesting, and the way she's just so intrigued with everything. And I honestly, since I'm only halfway in, I just want to know more. And I know there are 7 books in this series, if I'm not wrong. I know the reading order is that you read until the 3rd book in the series, and then you go to a different series, if I'm not wrong. So I'm intrigued. I think I want to follow the reading order that, I don't know, is on the internet, because I don't know if Brandon Sanderson released that, or it's just someone who thinks that that's the best way of reading, but I will follow that. Oh, I just have so many things I want to tell you that it will be a spoiler, because it is the plot and it is what's happening in the book. But I'm really excited to finish this. I am pretty much halfway into the book, and I want to try and finish this probably tonight or tomorrow. I have to read about like 350 pages tonight though if I want to finish it, so maybe tomorrow I'm gonna try and finish it, and then yeah, we're gonna see what my final verdict is. Honestly, I think I'm gonna have such a fun time reading the whole Cosmere series, because I was so intimidated going into the series or going into his books, because it's so like daunting in a way, because people like hyping it too much, and I'm like, oh no, what if I don't like it? But I'm loving it. So if you need a sign whether you should read The Final Empire, this is your sign. Read it, because it is epic. And I think I'm not much of a high fantasy person, or I don't really read a lot of high fantasy, but this is just so good. Honestly, I don't know how to say it otherwise. It's worth it. Pick it up. I'm already thinking of going tonight to pick up the 2nd book, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to the 2nd book anytime soon, because I have so many videos planned in my head right now, even though I really want to read the 2nd book ASAP, even though I'm not done. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna try and finish this. I really hope the ending is really good, and I hope all the things that we've been working towards is gonna happen at the end of the book and not happening in like the 3rd book, because that would be really sad. But I think it will happen in this book, because a lot of things has to happen before this main thing is gonna happen. I know it's so vague, but I think if you've read it, you will understand what I think. That is my long update. I've been talking for so long, but yeah, I'm gonna start reading The Final Empire probably tonight, and I want to see if I can finish this by tomorrow and let you know about the final verdict, about what I think, whether it's still one of my favorite books ever. So let's stop rambling. Let's get into reading The Final Empire. Hello, this is me again, like 1 minute later, because I forgot to give you an update on, I don't know if I'm updating you on this video, on the other video, but I have been making a scarf. I have been trying to get into crochet. And I think for my first project, honestly, it is quite a fail. But I'm still gonna show you nonetheless. I'm gonna finish it, and then I want to get into another project, but I don't know if I'm gonna finish it in this video. So let me just show you what I did. It is a scarf, as I said. And I was trying this new stitching method, which is called the moss stitch or something like that. And the thing is, it's going well, but the problem is that it's too short to be a scarf because, one second, it is too short to be a scarf, pretty much. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm gonna do solid colors on both ends and just make it longer. I did it, but it looks like this, guys. So yeah, honestly, if I were to plan this correctly from the beginning, I think it would have been a fine project and not a fail. But since it is also my first crochet project, I'm still kind of proud of what I did. I mean, the stitchings are not that bad. So yeah, this has been what I've been doing crocheting wise. And I think doing it white on the other side and blue on the other side is also kind of stupid. I mean, not stupid, just not the way I envision it, I guess. So yeah, I still have quite a bit. I mean, not that long, but I'm gonna, I don't know, extend this a little bit more because I want it to be like the same size here. I guess I want to extend it that much, and I will see if I still need to extend it a little bit more, and if no, then that's that. So what I wanted to say earlier is that I'm gonna do some crochet while listening to the Final Empire. That will be the plan for today. Maybe after the crochet, or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I'm gonna update my journal because I haven't updated my journal at all this January, so I will update it with you. And yeah, so now properly, let's get into it. So this is me editing the video, but I noticed that I didn't film a crochet update. I was blocking it, so I forgot about it, but I blocked it and honestly it looked okay. Not happy with how it turned out, but I think for a first project, really good. I will probably update you more whenever I washed it afterwards. Now let's go into the outro. So I am here to finally give you the final update slash the outro. And honestly, this video has taken me so long to film for some reason. I think I was like in a mini reading slump. I was so excited to get into all the books, and then all of a sudden life gets a little bit busier, and then I got into a little mini reading slump. So I haven't read many books this month. I mean, it is the 25th, and I still hope that I can finish a few books before the end of the month. I have like a week-ish or so to read a little bit more, but I think honestly, because of the Final Empire that I just finished like 10 minutes ago, I'm out of my reading slump. I am so excited to read so much more because it's not that I count, it doesn't matter how many books I read really, as long as like the quality of the book is good. I guess I prefer quality over quantity, but then again, I've been so used to reading so much, and then now all of a sudden not reading at all. It's kind of like a little bit weird. But anyway, we're gonna get into a pretty long update. I don't know how to start this. Maybe I start from the first book that I read, going to the Final Empire, so it's like a grand reveal. But yeah, let's get into the first book that I read this month slash in this vlog, which was The Things We Leave Unfinished. I think I said enough about this book, honestly, and I don't think I need to say more about the book, but it is interesting to see her contemporary romance, Rebecca Yarros. Contemporary romance are, I think, just not my cup of tea kind of thing. It's too, I don't know, it's just not for me. And I feel like it's a bit insta-lovey, which I don't necessarily enjoy in a romance novel. I like the building up, the tension, the longing. So the fact that it's like, yes, there are a lot of longing here because it is between wars, or like between the World War II, and then they got separated at some point. So there are some longing in there, but it's like, I like for them to work together to make this relationship work kind of thing, and not like a insta love and then okay, we'll see what happened kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So honestly, I think this book I would just rate 3 stars. I'm trying to be a little bit more cutthroat with my ratings because I look back at 2024 that it's just, I rated things so differently from back then to now. Obviously it makes sense because you grow in general as a person, and your reading taste will develop, will grow, will like be more catered towards you the older you get. But I feel bad giving books 3-star rating because I know how hard it is to write a book. I never personally wrote any books, but I know how hard it could be. I can imagine it. So giving something 3-star is really like mean and I don't want to be mean. But then again, this is my personal rating anyway, and I don't want to lie. So yeah, I think in the past I would have rated this like 3.75 or even 4. But I think it will be a 3-star this time. I would never think of this. I would probably donate the book soon. So yeah, if you guys are interested in, I don't know, reading her contemporary romance, sure, give it a go. But personally, it's just not for me. Moving on to the second book that I finished is none other than Beartown, which is my first 5 stars of the year. I wanted to film this video where it's like, I will stop filming until I find my 5-star reads, whatever. Well, I wanted to do that, but second book that I read, Beartown, is a 5-star. So that book is scratched. That book is scratched. That video is no longer, but Beartown I don't even know what else I can tell you about this, but it's so good. His writing style and the experience that we gone through with the characters in this like traumatic event, and just like it's interesting. I know I keep saying the word interesting, but it's honestly just so amazing how ice hockey and how this town survives just because of their hope of ice hockey in a way. And like we pretty much is seeing how ice hockey are changing their lives for good and for bad, which is quite insane. I know whenever you hear the description for Beartown, it doesn't seem like it's that interesting because it's ice hockey. That's what made me not want to pick up this book in the beginning. But honestly, do not let that deter you. It is such a good book and it's worth it to read it, so pick it up, please. Moving on to the third book, which is Orbital. I think I enjoyed this book. I don't know how I would rate it though. I would rate it probably 3.75/4. I don't know, maybe more 3.75, because this book makes me think and it makes me contemplate on certain things that we just know but didn't really understand. But then now I fully understand how, like, not fully, but I now have a little bit of a grasp of what's happening in space exploration or in like space station in a way, and how they feel, how astronauts feel, and how it's a really beautiful writing. But I feel like it's just not a sort of book that I would normally pick up, this kind of fiction book, which is, it is very literary fiction, which I don't read a lot of lit fic. So I think for like my first time, I don't think this is my first time, but I think it is quite a good book. But I think, again, I would just rate it 3.75. But if you're intrigued in space and you love space exploration and everything to do about space, pick this one up. You won't regret it. So the next book that I read is the third book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, which is The Icebound Land. And I don't know what to say about this book, but this book, I think I would rate 3.5. I think it is so difficult to rate children's books because I don't want to rate it as a full-grown adult. I am reading as my age right now. I'm not like 10. So reading this probably is just like, okay, it's another children's book. Like the fact that I'm reading Harry Potter now is such a different experience to people that read it whenever they were like little. So it's really difficult to rate children's books, but I would say 3.5. And it is a very interesting turn of events are happening in this book, and I am excited for the fourth one. It's somewhere behind me here, and I will pick it up, I think, honestly, next week before January ends. I want to read the fourth book, and we shall see what if I get to that. So the final book, I mean, I read one book, but I don't think it's the palette cleanser book that I talked about, which is Whispers of You. And I think I'm not gonna include it in this vlog because I didn't even talk to you about it that much, or even like film anything about like the clips or whatever. So I think we just gonna skip right past Whispers of You and go to my favorite book. I think one of my favorite books of all time for sure, and I will think about this book for a while. It's The Final Empire. I know I still have this. I just finished it like 10 minutes ago, and I was quite, I don't know. Since the last time I talked to you guys, it was everything has gone downhill, and I want to say uphill. It's a battle. But I'm just telling you, since the last time I talked to you, I did not think that things would go that way. I thought things would certainly go a certain way, but I think with Brandon Sanderson's books, or like specifically with Mistborn, I should not guess how it would go next, because I'm never right. It's always wrong, and I always love getting surprised. And I am so attached with these characters, and I love the crew members. I just love the crew, and what, like, the dynamic between all of them is just so good, and the chemistry between each other. They all have their like distinct personalities. They have all different roles, and I truly enjoy the relationship Especially my favorite relationship is Vin's relationship with everyone pretty much, but mainly between Sazed and Kelsier. It's just so wholesome. I think with Kelsier it's like a father-daughter kind of chemistry, like respectively, and it is so honestly beautiful and wholesome. And with Sazed, Sazed is just such a wholesome, beautiful man. Let me just say that. And yeah, he's just so mysterious because we don't know much about him, I don't think. I mean, we get to know him a little bit more about what he is, what he can do mid to end of the book. So it was really, really enlightening to see. But honestly, I cannot wait to pick the second book up. And I think I want to go today to the bookstore and get the second book, maybe, which is I think The Well of Ascension. Yes, The Well of Ascension. And honestly, the ending was like teased from the beginning already. So I know, I'm like, oh, for sure it's gonna happen. But then things started going downhill and I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And well, you guys just have to read the ending to know what the ending is. But whew, I think this book might be a 6-star read. I don't give a lot of books 6 stars. And I think last year I didn't give that many. I think I gave yours truly 6 stars. That I remember. And even Kingdom of Ash for me was 5-star. I mean, 5-star because it was like the ultimate ending. So considering this is the first book of a large series and it's like a 6-star read for me, I am so excited for the second, the third. I know this world has so many books and I'm so excited because sometimes getting into high fantasy and knowing that the next book is not out yet kind of hurts you. So the fact that there is 50 other books in the Cosmere, just I'm all right with it. I'm happy about that. Yeah, but I think this video is ending with such a great note with the 6-star and the 5-star. I found 2 of my favorite reads of the year already in the first month in January. So I hope this year will be a really good reading year for me. And I think from January, we can already tell that it's quite good. But yeah, comment down below whether you've read The Final Empire or Beartown or any of the books that I read in this vlog. And yeah, let's just talk about it in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.